And here we are. Welcome. Welcome live. Happy Thursday. I was looking at the countdown and I was slowly lost. So, hope you're having a beautiful day so far. Because today it's a bit an exception because normally we're always live on Tuesday and today we changed it a bit. But I thought that it has been so many weeks that we're not having our getting started with Magic Plan session. So I thought that this is necessary today. So you can grab your coffee, a drink. I have some water here. So you can join me and follow and see if you learn something that you maybe didn't know before watching this live video. If you have any questions, you can write them down in the comments. I will see them appearing on my screen and I will start sharing my screen. I'm going to use a tablet so you will see my screen projected into your mobile device, whatever you're using to watch this live video. Okay, then I would say let's switch to this view. I'm still down here and we can start having a look at our main page here. Okay, so I already have some projects in my app, but if you start using it, of course, it will be empty. So you will start creating projects from the, let's say, middle of your page. Okay, there will be a plus and you can start testing the app. At the bottom, you can see that we have some toggles. So we have my projects where you have all your projects, of course. Then you have the community toggle. I'm not opening it because I'm not sure if some private emails will pop out from you guys. So we don't want to, let's say, spoil or see other people's emails while we're live. But please take a look on your device, go to the community tab here and then you can take a look and see what we have there. Then we have the Academy, which is very interesting because here you would have to log in if you never used it before, and you can join and you can follow some beautiful courses that my colleagues prepared for you guys. Then we have my accounts with all the settings, as you can see. So here you can really set up your account. You can upload a photo. You can select all your company details here. You can upload the logo, a watermark, and so on. And maybe a little important note in app preferences, you can decide, for example, the unit. So if you want to see your measurement as metric, feet, inches, as you prefer. Okay, so you can change them here as a default for all your projects. And here you can see that you have something additional and some other, let's say, settings info here. Just take a look once you download the app. I don't want to bother you going into every single detail. Okay, perfect. So once you create a project, you see that each project has three little dots here. If you tap on it, or on them, if you tap on this toggle, you can decide if you want to make your project your favorite, if you want to move it into the archive folder, for example, or if you want to move it into a different workspace. Also here you have the options, and you can also duplicate a project. Okay, maybe an important note that we don't say that often, but that's interesting and important to know. If you mark a project as a favorite, you will see that there's like a little disclaimer saying make available offline, which means that if you want to keep working on this project while you are somewhere and you have no Wi-Fi, no data connection, you can keep working on it. And then once you're back online at a later point, the changes will be automatically saved and uploaded into your MagicPlan cloud. Because I know that some people maybe don't know this point, but it's interesting to know. And then you will find all your favorite projects here. And if there's a project that you don't want to use any longer, for example, here, this project, we could say, okay, please archive. You sure? Yes. and it will disappear from the main list, and you will see it here in the archived folder. Okay, and the other options are pretty straightforward, okay? If you want to move it into a different workspace, you can do it from here. If you have just one workspace because you started using the app for free, to create a new workspace, you have to go into the magicplan cloud. Just as a side note, here, we can enter this project just to take a look. We have some blocks. We have the flow plan, we have the photos and videos. The section is still called photos, but you can now upload both photos and videos. And here at the bottom, you have the files section. And on the left side, you have the info of your project. You have the address. You have here forms. In case you created some custom forms, you will see them here and you will be able to fill them up. This is, for example, for people who do, I don't know, sanification, restoration, and you want to fill in your form here, so you don't need pen and paper anymore. And here you also see who created the project, who modified it last, because you could assign it to a different person in your magicplan cloud if you have more people working together. And this is, let's say, to have a general overview of your flow plan. Okay, now I would say let's go back here and create a project together so we can see something, let's say, inside the project and about the project creation. So we tap on new project, create. Okay, so you see that now it's empty. Okay, so the structure is, of course, like the other one that had already something filled in, but we have nothing here. So we can decide, do we want to start with a flow plan? Do we want to start with photos? It's absolutely up to you. If you say, I don't want to create a flow plan, maybe I don't need it, okay, fine. We could also start with the photo section. Let's do camera. I'm checking here my chaos in front of me because you don't see it, but I have like 4 videos. Okay, let's do like this, and we take a picture here. Okay, now we do next. Okay, now you can see here that we have my desk. Of course, if you're on site, you will take a picture of something better, right? Of something useful and beautiful. Now it's just to show you. We can also tap on edit already, and we go straight ahead in the editor. And you can see that we can, for example, crop the image. Here we can say, okay, we want it like this. Then if there's something, maybe sensitive data that you don't want to show everyone, we can use the redact function and hide the necessary information so that we don't want to show to everyone later. And we could also say, okay, annotate. We could add a text saying, we just tap here somewhere. Let's call it test image. Okay. You can, of course, write whatever you want on your pictures. Then we hide the keyboard here, voila, and we say done. Save all, and voila. As you can see, we started with a picture instead of starting with the editor and creating a floor. Okay, now, since we're here and we want to also see how it works, let's also create a floor. So let's say here first floor. Okay, I'm closing here the info section. I put back my tablet so it's more stable, and I also have free hands. Do you guys have any questions until now, or everyone is happy? Everything is clear until here, I would say, right? So we saw, let's say, the main settings and the photos, the photo section, which is very important. Okay, let's tap on insert room. Little additional note here. I'm gonna skip the first 2 options to create rooms, not because I don't want to talk about them, because we will do an extra live video next Tuesday about the scanning feature, LiDAR scan, manual scan. So we will see those 2 more in depth together next week. So I skip and I go to add a square room. Okay, perfect. Let's add something from the commercial area or commercial room type, and let's say private office. Okay, now the room is added like this. It's like in a standard shape, but you can edit it, you can change the measurement, and you can add corners. Let's have a look. For example, here we could say, okay, I want to add a corner here. I pull in my room and maybe I want to make it a bit wider. Okay, fine. Let's see. Okay, looks like this. We will see if we're happy with that, if we want to change something later. Let's insert another room. Let's say, okay, define corners just to change. And we could add a balcony. I'm gonna zoom out a bit so I can see a bit better. And I'm gonna add a balcony right here. Okay, it's bigger than the office, yes, but anyway, let's go ahead. Okay, let's insert another room. I'm just doing it like this, so just to show you what we can do and so on. Okay, so I'm still not an interior designer. Okay, let's go ahead with the living room. Okay, now we added it like this. If we don't want to have it there, we can tap on Edit Layout and we move the room around, okay? You see that you always have green signs helping you positioning the room. If you want to use the corners as a reference, like this, or if you want to use, let me see, what is it here? There it is, the wall as a reference, okay? Depending how you would like to align your room. Let's say I would like to align it like this. I let it go and it's snatched together with the other room. Okay, now I would say that I'm gonna duplicate this room. Let's say identical. It's a squared room, so nothing will happen even if I duplicate it in another, let's say, with another orientation. Okay, let's move it here. It's pink because I used it in pink in one of my last projects. We can change the color, of course. We can also make it, let's say, blue. Okay, let me see. Now, let's say that we don't need two living rooms like this. We would like to have a bigger room, okay? So I can select one of these two rooms. In this case, it's the same, but you decide which room you would like to use to start from, okay? I selected this one, and on the left side menu, you see that you have the option Merge Rooms. We select that, and we merge the other living room. Voila. So now you see that we have a big living room. It's all in blue because I selected the room with the right color already. And maybe we can also add a corner here. And we want to pull out this wall just a bit, maybe like this. I pull in this other wall. Okay. Now we have the balcony, the living room, a private office. Okay. Now we could add a, let's say here, maybe a bedroom. Yeah, okay. Let's do something like this. It doesn't matter. Let's add a define corners again. Let's do another bedroom and we can add it like this. Okay, let's say that it's only us going into our bedroom, so it's fine, even if it's, let's say, here near the private office. Absolutely, it's good. We don't care. We just use it privately. Okay, so we don't have any people coming in apart from ourselves. Okay, so let's add something additional, maybe here in the middle. Let's insert a room with the option that we didn't use yet, with the insert a filler. Okay, it's the last option at the bottom here. So insert a filler, and let's say this is a filler room. Okay, now let's say that, sorry, I exited the view, filler room, and I want to look for the hallway. There it is. Now we just position this arrow here in the space that we want to fill in. Okay, and we let it go. Voila. And it has been filled in like this. Maybe you know what we can do, because I want to add something additional to show you something. So I can take, we pulled in and out a lot of walls. Let's use another, let's say, feature to modify your measurement. Let's select the blue number. I'm sorry if my voice sometimes it's going up and down. I'm still fighting with my cold, just as a side note. Okay, let's say that we wanna make this room a bit longer, okay? So we're gonna do, let's say, 4 meters. Okay, now also this other room moved, but it's not a problem. I can put it in and put it back where it was. Okay, now something happened here. I can see, I can show you a bit better. Let me do like this. Okay, so something moved while I pulled out the wall. So you see that you have these dotted lines. When you see the dotted lines, it means that something is not correct, okay? But good news, you can always fix that. So we select the hallway and we pull in this wall for like this little, let's say like this. Let's see if it's okay. Okay, where is it? Here. Fine. Let's do like this. We are about to modify a locked dimension. In this case, we're okay with that. And here you see that there's a little space. This is perfect because I can use it to show you something. Because you saw that I moved also this room around. So here I have a little space between the balcony, the hallway, and the living room. But we're gonna leave it like that right now. So I maybe just add one more room here, because we would need a bathroom at least, so that it's something, let's say, realistic. Let's say define corners, bathroom, and I'm gonna add it right here. Okay, perfect. So we have pretty big rooms, but it's fine. I'm gonna insert a couple of doors. Object. Let's go here to doors, and we select the hinge door. Okay. I will duplicate it because I want to add more doors to also enter the other rooms, because we cannot walk through the walls, not yet. So we duplicate it one more time here, and one more time, because the hallway it's in the middle, so I'm quick, and one last time. Okay, so now you see that it looks like a shark teeth something. So we have the hallway full of doors, but we don't want to have them all opening inside the hallway. So we can swap or rotate the door. We can rotate the door if we're happy with this door type, okay? We will swap it if we want to change the door type. So I rotate it like this here in the bathroom. Then I'm gonna swap this one because I don't want to have a small door going into the living room, so we just add an opening, and you know what, we make it bigger like this. Okay, I just use my fingertips to make it wider. Okay, but if you prefer, you can also tap on the number and you can type the measurement manually, or you can also connect a Bluetooth laser meter if you're on site and you measure how wide is the opening, and it will be automatically recorded inside the magicplan app. Okay, perfect. So you see that if I change the measurement inside this little window, the measurement will then be locked. You see that there's a little padlock appearing near the blue number. Now let's also swap this door and add a glass bypass door, and we make it also a bit wider because we want a beautiful door here to go out to our balcony, and we just rotated the last door because we like it as it is. Okay, if we want, we can also go inside the other room. From here, we duplicate the door. You can see that you can be very quick. If you want, we can position it here, and we rotate it inside the bedroom. Okay, let me have a look. Okay, perfect. We can now move inside our apartment because we have enough space. Perfect. Now, let's fill in this space that we created before, because you see it here. This is a perfect thing, what we're gonna do if you have some spaces inside your house between rooms that exist in real life, but they are not a room, right? So they're not living space. Okay, in the meantime, Mohammed, hi, I saw you. Sorry, I was in the flow while talking, but I saw you saying hi. So let me insert room. We select the filler option, insert a filler, and we add a filler wall. Okay, as we did for the filler room, we put it here, and voila, it has been filled in. You can leave it like this. You can change the color if you want. Sorry, I had to drink a bit. We can make it black because I know that you guys like it like this in general. So you don't have a different, let's say, pattern in that area. Okay, it looks like a wall. If you want, you can also add a photo if you're on site, or if you have photos of that filler space, filler wall, and you can also see here all the details of your of this area. Okay, perfect. Now let's see. Now I remember what I wanted to do next, because I go with the flow with my thoughts, but I also think about what you guys would need the most if you just started. Now, you see that we have our, let's say, apartment, okay? So maybe you're doing some renovations, you want to add an extra little room like a closet, which is often the case, and you say, okay, I already created everything, I want to add a closet. So what a lot of people do is inserting another room. I just created as a room with defined corners. Okay, I show you the wrong variation. Okay, so we have the closet, we created it here, and now we say, but this closet should be placed, let's say, here between the bedroom and the private office. Okay, so what a lot of people do is selecting the closet and positioning it here. And now you will see what we mentioned before. If you were already following me, zack, you see that we have these dotted lines, and dotted lines mean that something is wrong. Okay, so we have to do something different. I go back and I just delete this little closet because I don't need it like that. Now, what I do is selecting my bedroom here, okay? Because we need to create the space to be filled in, and then there we can have all the extra rooms that we want. We can do this, let's say, game with every kind of room, okay? So I'm adding here a corner. I pull in the wall like this, or pull out, depending on how you're watching it. And here you see that now we have the space, right? The needed space between the two rooms. So now I can insert a room, insert a filler room, and I select the closet. And as simple as that, I just position the arrow here. I let it go. If you have something like this, don't worry. We can always change the measurements and fix the room. We enter the closet and we make it the size that we want, like this, and boom. Okay, voila. And now, as you can see, the walls are not dotted and they appear as all the other walls. Okay, so they work fine. Okay, then you can also, of course, play around. We have the objects. We have more than 100 objects. I don't know how many objects we have right now because we keep edit and adding new objects in general at some time, at some point during the year. So you can take a look and play around and add all the objects that you need to your apartment, to your project. Like maybe we can add something here from our object categories. let's say, you know what? We didn't add windows. Let's add a couple of windows, because then we can also take a look at our project in 3D, and it's a bit better. It doesn't look like a bunker hidden where you cannot look outside. So let's add a casement window. We duplicate it, so we have 2 here. Now I want to add also something here in the bathroom. Also note that here you have the recently used objects, right? So what I always say to you guys is, if you want to use an object more times in several rooms, you can add it in all the rooms at once. So you have it here in the recently used objects, and you don't have to look for it every time, okay? It's just a suggestion. You can do as you prefer, but just to speed up the process. And also, interesting thing, if you select a wall and you switch to the elevation view, you can see that we have the window that I just added, and you can also play around with it. Or if you have other wall elements, you can also move them. It's not just the window, but you can see here that you can have an idea of how it looks like in real life. And for example, here I could say, you know what, we have enough space, let's add another window. And you can position them exactly where you want them to be inside the room. If you're happy, or if you want to change something, you can also do that. For example, here I selected one of the 2 windows, right? So I can change the distance to floor and say I want to have it a bit lower, perhaps. So we could do 40 centimeters. Maybe it's a bit too low like this. Let's do just a bit less than the other one, just so that you see the difference. And let's apply it. So you see that it's a bit lower than the other one. We could say, you know what? We like it better like this. Okay, let's also do the other one like this. And boom, they have been adapted. And if we want, and if it's necessary and we need this information, we can also include the dimensions of an object. In this case, I selected the window because we're already here in the PDF. So if you want some measurement to be listed precisely in your report PDF of an object, of a couch, of whatever it needs to be, a kitchen, counter, whatever, you can select the object, you go in the info section and you select include in PDF, and it will be included there. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to 2D. You see that this pin, the yellow pin, it's also appearing here in the 2D view, right? So you know that there is something that it's important there, that maybe you added a photo, or like in this case, you decided that you want to integrate or to add the measurement of this object in the PDF. So you know that something has been done there. Okay, perfect. Now, I would say, if you have your floor plan, see, it's exactly what I wanted to show you next. Take a look. The app is so intelligent. Just joking, but you see here that I now exited the floor plan. So there's a little disclaimer saying that here you have the export toggle. So if you want to export your project in different formats that we have in magicplan. Okay, now I summed it up for you, but this is what is written there basically. I say, got it. Okay, so we don't have files yet because we didn't generate any files. If you want, maybe we can tap on see all just to see what we have here. And if you have a file that you would like to add to your project, and it's an external PDF, for example, that you have on your computer, you can add it from here. So you can also add it to your project additionally to the files that you then generate in magicplan. I hope it's clear, but I think yes. You guys are very smart, so I'm sure it's clear. Okay, let's tap here on the export toggle. And here you can see that we have different options, right? I just keep these at the top, but for example, you see the first one, it's something that you guys use a lot, and it's to export your project for the Exactimate program, so as an ESX file, okay? Here you have also integrations. And let's go just to the, let's say, basic or to the main file formats that you guys have available, okay? Because the other files or the other, let's say, formats are not something that everyone uses, but these are like the formats that everyone is going to use, okay? Perfect. So here we have the report PDF, sketch PDF, sketch files. Little note, in the sketch files, you will have all the floors separately because they are generated as an image, okay? So each floor is an image by itself, okay? And let's take a look here because you also see these little toggles near each export format. And these are the toggles for the configuration menu. So for example, if I go in the report PDF, you can see that I can personalize my my document before I generate it, okay? So you can see here, you can decide if you want to eliminate or to hide some info or to if you want to show something additional. It's up to you. And here you can see, really take a look in your app without any pressure when you have time to relax, so you can get familiar with it and you take a look at all the options that you have. Once you're happy with your settings or your configuration, you just tap on done and it will be saved for your next report PDFs. And then when you want to change it, you do the same again, you enter the menu and you go ahead. Okay, I'm not going to export. Maybe we can just export something quick, you know, we can just export a sketch PDF because it's gonna be generated just like that. Voila, we have it here. In the sketch PDF, we do not have the photos because we have, let's say, a quick and clean view of our project, okay, of our floor plan. This is now in the vertical orientation. You can also rotate it and do it in landscape mode, okay? Maybe, just an interesting thing. We can also enter our floor plan again, because I thought that it can be interesting for some of you guys. If we have a room that we want to also use, or we have one or more rooms, okay? Now we're gonna do it with one room. You wanna also use it for another floor, or you wanna do some changes, but you don't wanna change it directly here just for safety, so you wanna play around in another room, you can duplicate it, as we did at the beginning, like this, but you can also move it to a different floor. Sometimes it also happens that you're maybe in the flow of your creative project or creative process and you create more rooms inside the floor and they should be in a different floor. You can move them afterward, nothing happens. It's absolutely fine, no worries, because you see here we just duplicated the living room. It's exactly the same. If I select it, I can go in the info section of this room and I can select a different floor. You saw that we only have this first floor, but we can move it to a different floor, second floor. It will disappear instantly, and when we go back, boom, we have the second floor with the room that we moved there, okay? And also, maybe you have a house with 2, 3, 4 floors, and you have the same exact apartment, like the same structure on all floors. You can just create the first apartment and then you can duplicate it as many times as you want. So I redo it because I was talking and talking, maybe you didn't see. So you tap on the 3 dots near the floor and you will duplicate it, okay, like this. You can duplicate it here. We need to select a floor. You can say this is a third floor and we say duplicate. Okay, successfully duplicated, and here it is. So we have the first, the second floor is just the room, but it was just to show you. And we have another floor like that. And if you want, you could also duplicate it into a different project. Okay, here you see that you are in your current project here. You could also duplicate it into a new project, another existing project, what you would like to do. You're absolutely flexible. Okay, maybe just one teeny tiny little thing. Here you have the statistics, so you have the square meters or square feet or inches of your project, so you can see it here, or you can see them, all the details here, right? And here you also see if you have objects added to your project. We don't have a lot of objects here, but last but not least, let's have a look in 3D. If you guys have any suggestions or anything that you would like me or us to do live, please let me know. Write a comment under this video. Also, if you're watching the replay, so this is now our apartment. It's pretty empty because we just added the sofa, but you can see that it's really realistic. Here we have the filler wall that has been added. Here we have the closet that we added afterward. Yes, but please let us know if you would like, for example, I don't know, to create a project and maybe instead of creating an apartment, just focus on a commercial building, or maybe you would like me to show you how you would create a kitchen at best. Whatever you would need, whatever comes to your mind, feel free really to let us know, because we always try to implement any kind of videos that can be useful and, let's say, that can be relevant for you guys, because we do it for you, not for ourselves. Okay, perfect. I think that for today, that's it. I talked a lot. I hope you enjoyed this getting started session. If you have any questions and you're watching the replay, then you can also contact us here at support@magicplan.app, and we can get back to you answering your questions, doubts, whatever you would like us to answer. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your time. I saw you joining during the live. I hope you enjoyed it. And to finish our video, as I always say, depending on the time zone where you are, I wish you a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye.